Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
When you don't go to geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Okay, I'm going to switch this from here.
We have exciting news. You can now afford to have your own freeze dryer. That's right, for the first time ever, it's possible to have a freeze dryer in your home. It was invented right here in America by Harvest Right. With this new appliance, you can freeze dry your own food and it will last 25 years. Imagine freeze drying fruit, vegetables, meat, and your own homemade meals. It's as easy to use as a microwave. Learn more about this amazing home freeze dryer at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com.
You've just joined the Prepper Broadcasting Network, where we promote self-reliance and independence. The views and opinions expressed are strictly those of the host or their guests. Visit us in the interactive chat room at prepperbroadcasting.com.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Forrest Garvin. We have Kyle across from me. This is the Prepping Academy radio show. We are live. It's Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're on Blog Talk Radio listening to us, please jump over to prepperbroadcasting.com and you can join into a highly used chat room right now. So jump on over. That's prepperbroadcasting.com. And welcome. Kyle, how was your week?
My week has been awesome. It has been fantastic.
Today's a great day for you, isn't it?
Today is an absolutely great day for me. I am ending my 17 long years in retail.
Well, about time.
Yes.
So there are probably no problems in retail. It's just
no,
none at all.
Peaceful, loving, such kind people. Society is so great.
Awesome. Hey guys, again, this is the Prepping Academy radio show. Tonight we have changed our topic.
Yes.
Why would we do that?
Something happened. Something happened in the news locally.
Yeah.
In our city. Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, riots. We have some riots going. We have thousands of people downtown right now.
Yes.
Trying to get their point across.
Yeah, which was
Black Lives Matters.
Yes.
Which it does.
Yeah. But you know what? All lives matter.
All lives matter. Amen to that. So we've changed our topic. We're going to be talking to County Commissioner here in Charlotte, Matt Rittenauer. He's going to be calling in a few minutes, but what do we usually cover first?
Oh, we usually cover my conspiracy theory.
Kyle's conspiracy theory of the day. Now, let me give you some back.
No, God, not the day.
It's of the week, actually, but we could do it every day. But let's give some backdrop. Kyle, I think, gives all his money to Alex Jones.
No, I really don't.
You don't?
I
Okay.
really, really don't.
Well, Kyle believes in conspiracy theories, and I made fun of you, by the way, at prepper camp. I told people that you actually believe that grass seeds actually have microphones that can transmit all that back to data servers for the U.S. government. I made that up.
Grass seed, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so when it grows, there's microphones wherever you walk.
And then when you eat some, it's inside of you.
See, you've already taken it to a new level.
Yeah, I have.
That's awesome. So, Kyle, what is your conspiracy theory of the week?
You know, again, it's not so much a conspiracy theory. I just try to keep my eyes wide open and listen to things. And, do you remember, with everything going on right now, you remember the riots in Ferguson, Missouri, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
So I remember even back then, and I mean, I can actually quote it here. I actually pulled up an article from Breitbart. There was an FBI agent, Special Agent Sean Cox, and then there was also a U.S. attorney from the Southern District of Illinois who came out and put two and two together that ISIS was actually in Ferguson recruiting and actually helping start up Black Lives Matters. And it's very interesting to me that there doesn't seem to be any emphasis. If you or I died, things would be peaceful. No one would go out and riot.
Wait a second. There would be riot? No, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, no, there really wouldn't be.
About 12 people would care.
These people, and I'm not saying everyone, I think there's a legitimate, nature behind some of these people. They don't want to see people get killed, but at the same point, you have to look at the facts. If someone has a gun, if someone charges a police officer, threatens a life, I'm sorry, you're probably going to get shot.
Okay, we don't know all the details.
No,
true.
We don't.
True, that is true. But you're saying ISIS was in Ferguson recruiting Black Lives Matters?
Yes. They were actually helping start this. But look at the movement that's going on right now.
So do you think they're in Charlotte?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
I absolutely do. And I think that they are integral with Black Lives Matters. I mean, we know for a fact that Syrian refugees have been coming to Charlotte. We don't know what they do on a day-to-day basis. But we absolutely know that there is a connection with groups like this.
Okay.
And right now, 70%, from what CMPD is saying, 70% of those folks who have been arrested are from out of state. To me, these people are trying to provoke violence.
Dude, I didn't know you were going to get right into the riots right off the bat.
Dude, not that I was...
conspiracy theory, I'm like, I didn't know it was going to tie into the riots. I'm almost speechless here.
It absolutely does.
I thought you were going to tell us that that Hillary Clinton is actually an alien or something.
She is. She's a lizard person. No, I don't really even care. Like, I don't even want to waste my time on that one. But I think it's a conspiracy theory because mainstream media won't tackle it. They won't come out and say, look, even the FBI says there's a connection here. So I must be a conspiracy nut.
Right. Well, you are a conspiracy nut. I will give you that. If you want that title,
Amen.
Amen. You have it. I did like the grass seed thing, though. That was, people looked at me like, really? I'm like, I'm just kidding. But people did ask about you at prepper camp, by the way. They love Kyle's conspiracy theory, except I haven't got any good ones yet. You haven't talked about Planet X at all.
We can do a Planet X.
You haven't talked. Matter of fact, every conspiracy theory you bring up is usually dealing with the show that we have that night. You don't have to do that. You can come up with the one you started believing and write about. I
think the disconnect here is we don't talk about things where they're not declassified yet. The Freedom of Information Act hasn't touched them yet. But like MK Ultra. Back whenever, you were in your 30s, MK Ultra was, right? Back when you were in your 30s, MK Ultra was happening.
Okay. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You've never heard of MK Ultra?
I'm not sure I have.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
We're not friends anymore.
Is that a bug? Is that the mosquito that we genetically modified?
We could do like a 5-hour show on MK Ultra.
Okay.
Mind control, experimentation. Yeah.
Mind control, okay.
Yeah.
I feel right now my mind is being controlled by you. It is kind of very strange and weird because the way, hey guys, when we're in here in the radio station, my studio, my office of my house, Kyle and I are really set, 3 feet away from each other?
Yeah.
And we share a mic in the center, and we kind of, as we talk, I notice we kind of look each other in the eye sometimes, and it gets really awkward.
You have to move your chair over there.
I'm gonna have to move at an angle so we don't have to actually see each other, because sometimes I'm looking at him going, "Are you serious?" And my hands are flying up in the air, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Hillary's an alien. I saw the results."
Saw her eyes shift.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that?
No, I didn't.
That was kind of weird. I mean, you have to look at it a couple times, and it was kind of weird, but that's not too abnormal. People can have a lazy eye.
Well, I think
and
anybody.
There's things that could.
I think anybody who looks at Saul Alinsky as their mentor and someone who was a Luciferian, I think probably chances are they might have something else going on that we don't want to know about fully.
Right. Okay. Is that the only conspiracy theory we have tonight? Because I thought you were going to come up with possibly two. That's it?
I mean, there's some other stuff going on, obviously. People are having their conspiracy theories about September economy collapsing. Stuff going on.
The Shemitah year, doesn't it?
It does. And there's stuff going on in New York. Like they're putting up that, what is it? They removed it from Syria. I know Rabbi Khan talked about it a little bit. Is it the Arch of Titus?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's actually the Arch of Baal. That's what it comes back to in Syria.
Oh,
so we're literally erecting, I guess it's going to be in New York City somewhere near the memorial. We're erecting a Arch of Satan, essentially.
Of Satan.
Yeah.
Right. I thought they nixed that.
I guess they tried to nix it, and then I guess at some point it came back.
Okay.
So there's a number of theories out there and conspiracy theories. Quite frankly, I'm at the point where, people putting dates on everything, I think is getting a little bit redundant. And I think it's gotten to a point where it's almost fear-mongering.
I don't mind dates, to be honest with you. I think when the crap hits the fan, we all go to heaven. I think God's going to give an award to whoever predicted the closest.
That's awesome.
Why not? I mean, why can't you go that way? I mean,
so we're just going to take a poll and see who comes up.
It's like a lottery, man.
I get a bigger mansion than you if I get the right date.
You get more crowns or something, man. I mean, you're not going to get jacked from some of the things you believe, but other of us. So tonight we have a special guest, local leader. I have to tell everyone, Matt Rittenauer is a county commissioner in Mecklenburg County. I saw a video he did today, and he was wiped out, tired. His cell phone was dying. And so I asked him for only 15 minutes. He is been a friend since the 90s. Actually, I was a youth worker, and he was one of the kids in the youth group. And so he's been, I've been a strong supporter of Matt. He fights for our freedoms. He fights for everything that is good.
That's awesome.
You can't say ex-Marine. What do you say, former Marine? Or he's a Marine?
He's a Marine.
He's a Marine. He was a Marine, and he is just awesome. So we're going to have him on. Is Matt, are you there?
I am, yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh, great. Matt is here.
Awesome.
And I'm going to make some adjustments here. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Hey, thanks so much for having me on tonight. I'm doing great. Just a little, as you said, a little wiped out these days, but right now at home, just tuning into the TV and watching what's going on in Uptown, which fortunately right now things are going peacefully in Uptown, and we can pray that they continue that way.
Great. Well, we wanted to know about the current situation and how's it. I mean, I looked on the video, and there looks like there's at least 3,000-4,000 people downtown Charlotte right now. Is that what you kind of can tell?
I really don't know the numbers. I actually ran out to pick up some dinner for us tonight, and I just got back, so I've only seen a few clips. So I'm not really sure of the crowd count. I know the first night they had 800 and roughly, and then last night there were about 300 or 400 folks. So I'm not sure about tonight. Tonight being Friday and day 3, you never know. There might be more people. I think CMPD is expecting more people to show up tonight, but we'll see how that plays out.
Okay, great. So let me, as a county commissioner, District 5 in Mecklenburg County, What is your role in this? Because is it a city thing or is it still a county thing, or what's your role in all this?
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
That's a great question. So in Mecklenburg County, which is the home of Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, the role of the county is really to help pass information on to citizens in a situation like this. The CMPD, the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, is primarily funded and is an arm of the city. And so they take, in an instance like this, the city takes the lead, and the county then offers support with our sheriff's deputies and whatever resources the city might need. And then we also are just kind of filter out information to residents as well. So we're not directly involved with any kind of tactical decision, but as far as strategic operations, we're there to support and sustain our law enforcement and first responders. Mecklenburg County does fund the medic unit, so of course our medics are standing by and are ready to assist where needed.
Gotcha. Okay, Kyle, you got a question for him?
Yeah, what are your specific thoughts as far as, say, like Hillary and Donald Trump are talking about coming to town, and are they over-politicizing this event?
That's another good question. Yeah, I think that's first off, I don't think I appreciate the idea that if they want to come into town because they want to try to support our law enforcement and they want to highlight the issues of the day and try to cause a national conversation, I mean, I think that's great, and there's a time for that and a place for that. I would say, though, this weekend and the coming days is probably not the best time for that. Our resources, I mean, our officers are working 12, 18-hour shifts, keeping our city safe, and bringing in somebody high profile like that is really just going to divert resources from where they're needed and further tax our law enforcement personnel. So while I hope that they want to come for good reasons rather than just simply capitalizing on a current event in order to raise their own personal profile. But I hope that they're coming here for good reasons, but this may not be the best time. I'd ask personally, I would ask that they would wait a week and let things kind of cool down and let our law enforcement do their jobs and then get some rest.
Even the mayor, I think, came out and stated that she would rather them wait as well. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation? I mean, yes, we had a young man get shot by the police department. Taking all the facts and just letting the court system and everything do, I mean, they'll run their due process. But does it really disturb you to the heart or bother you that this has happened in Charlotte? I mean, we're a peaceful city. It seems like a God-fearing city. I know the police department said like 70% of the people arrested were from out of North Carolina. But how does that? What do you think about it? What's your it kind of disturbs me inside that this could happen so quickly in our home city of Charlotte.
Yeah, well, I agree. It is disturbing. My family has been in Mecklenburg County since King George III gave us a land grant. So I feel obviously very deep ties to this community, all parts of the community, and Mecklenburg County. And so, yeah, seeing something like this happen in Charlotte it affects me, and it's just like it affects you and everyone else. It's one thing when we watch things on TV. It's still tragic, but it's different when you watch an event unfold in a different city, and you may or may not recognize any landmarks. But when you're sitting at home and you're watching events unfold, and you're like, oh, that's the epicenter. My office is on the 4th floor of the epicenter, and wow, right now the epicenter is getting trashed. Or, that's the transit center, and I walk by that every day. So when you see those landmarks, it makes it very personal, and you realize something very important, and that is that these things can happen anywhere, at any time. You never can tell when something might flare up in this day and age, which is sad and tragic, but it is the reality. I will say that it does appear, you mentioned something about 70% of the people that were arrested were from out of town. I would clarify that seems to be a number right now that's a bit fluid. There were a number of arrests. I spoke with a lot of law enforcement personnel the day after, Thursday morning. I spoke with a lot of law enforcement personnel who had been on the job the night before, and they said that a lot of the arrests were indeed from Florida, Fayetteville, South Carolina, Virginia, Wilmington. But there were, unfortunately, there were a lot of people that were arrested that were actually from Charlotte. So I don't know if that 70% number is accurate or not, but
okay.
But nevertheless, wherever they're from, the point remains, though, that it can happen anywhere. And whether the people are, local or from out of town, these situations unfold, and it can happen. It can happen anywhere, and so you just try to contain it as best you can.
Right, and it's so interesting because we all are for the rights for anyone to protest. Absolutely. Protests have changed, a lot of things in the United States and the world for good. And so I'm all for the rights of people to go out there and protest, but is there a solution? My question, and it's an open question. I'm not sure. Is there a solution to take the domestic terrorist people out of it and let the other? Is there a way that the police could just arrest the people causing trouble so the other ones can get their message across? And that's the perfect solution, but I just don't think. I'm not sure if it could ever happen.
Well, no, that's a great point, and that's, I think, what the police department tries to do while still understanding that they're sitting on top of a powder keg. So CMPD, and of course we all agree that your right to protest and your right to petition government is constitutionally protected, and I will stand by that 100 times out of 100. I myself have organized protests with thousands of people in attendance and never had a single issue. So absolutely, I don't care what the cause is, you do have an absolute right to protest and to petition government. But here, in this instance in particular, using it as an example, there is certainly a difference between those who were uptown and they were there to protest and those who were there to cause violence and mayhem and problems and trouble. The first night there were 807 people at Marshall Park, and it was a peaceful protest. But then things turned south, and those about 500 or 600 of those people left and said, the peaceful protest is done, we're going home. But what was left behind were the people who really didn't care about Black Lives Matter. They didn't really necessarily care about making a political point or any kind of cultural change. They were there just simply because they knew that they could stir up some trouble and cause a problem within the city. And so it's important to keep in mind that there are protesters and there are rioters, and they're very different people with different objectives.
Yeah, well, let me ask you, and Kyle, if you have a question, jump in, but I was looking last night, and I did see some of our clergy members get between protesters and the police. Are we just in a situation in Charlotte where we don't have that one strong clergy member or voice of the African American people or not just African, just the protesters that want their cause, that could stand up and say, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. Here's the way we're going to do it. And I'm going to lead us through this so we can get, our point across. Do we not have a leader like that in our community? I'm thinking like a Claude Alexander could be that person, or which is a pastor of one of our larger churches, or don't we have someone to do that? Because it shows the lack of leadership. And I'm not going to say that the people downtown are all Democrats or all people that are fighting for Black Lives Matter. But do we not have a leader to stand up for these people and kind of take control of the situation?
Well, I think that, as you said, we did see a number of members of clergy that were standing there between the officers and the protesters trying to keep things calm. So I think to some extent there is some attempts by the clergy and the church to keep things in check and keep things calm and peaceful, as we see also from other people like Toussaint Romaine, who's a friend of mine who has been interviewed many times on CNN and Fox, and he's the gentleman that's been out there in a white shirt, button-down shirt. He's a public defender in Mecklenburg County, and he's stood the line every night between police officers and protesters. So you certainly see people who are standing up as leaders to try to keep the protesters peaceful and keep the situation in check. But as far as there being any single or couple of I don't know that I'm necessarily qualified to answer that question as far as who's the leader in an African American church that can speak for folks. Certainly, I know several, but I would feel it was a little out of my place to say who could or could not stand up and take that leadership role. But at the same time, I think that's kind of I'm going to be real honest here. I think it's sort of reflective of a problem we have in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County as a whole. I think that the Charlotte that you and I grew up in back in the 90s is a different Charlotte than what we have now. We had Hugh McCall and others back in the 90s who sort of kind of led Charlotte and provided leadership, whether it was in the spotlight or behind the scenes, but provided leadership in all areas of Charlotte to move Charlotte forward and grow it from a small, sleepy town of 200,000 people to what we have now, almost 800,000 people. But you look around Charlotte now today, I feel like in Mecklenburg County, you look around, and I put myself in the crosshairs here since I am an elected official. You look around Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, and of course we have elected officials in public office, and we have a mayor, and we have a chairman of the county commission, and we have business leaders, but we don't have that same sense of leadership that we had, say, 15 years ago. And I think that is certainly causing problems here in town. We don't have that strong central group of people who are business-minded, who are faith-bound, who are civic-minded, who are trying to do good things for the whole community. Instead, we have devolved to a community where we have special interest groups who are trying to lead the city and the county in one direction or another direction, and we have folks who are trying to further their own political agendas and whatnot, and it just creates this power vacuum, for lack of better words, where people, I think, are searching for leaders and they're just not finding them. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but I am. I can talk.
Oh yeah, well I agree, Matt. You're in District 5, Matthew. You're in District 5 in Mecklenburg County, and I guarantee you have probably zero of your voters and your people in your district that are down there right now. That's just not the makeup of your district.
True.
And we all know that it was the Charlotte that passed the HB2 bill. I mean, we know that we've got some pretty liberal people that have their head in the sand that this kind of thing actually probably makes them more popular. I mean, this could, and could help their own personal agenda. So, yeah, we know, and that's why I told people before you came on. I mean, known you for a while, trust you. You're very conservative, Marine. You're kind of leadership we need up there. But, gosh, I mean, out of county commissioners, was there like 2 other people maybe 3 out of the 10?
Yeah, there are 3 Republicans and 6 Democrats, and city council. We've got the political makeup, anyways. On city council is 2 Republicans, 9 Democrats. So those who are, I'm not trying to get too political, but those who are conservative and kind of more, right-leaning, there are not a lot of friendly voices in elected office here in Mecklenburg County.
I mean, y'all kind of ignored a lot of the times when I watch you guys, but well, Matthew, I'm sorry, I keep calling you. Matthew,
Okay.
What do you see the future? I mean, what's going to happen over the weekend? Do you see things just calming down and the courts just kind of, playing out, or are y'all talking about this, lasting for a few weeks?
No, I think that most folks right now are anticipating that this will fizzle out sometime by the end of the weekend or maybe by Monday-ish. So certainly not something that's going to last too long. There are a lot of events scheduled in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County this weekend. We've got Festival in the Park. That's expected to continue and not have any trouble this weekend. No threats against Festival in the Park. Panthers games on Sunday. There's not any type of threat against the game on Sunday. But we, of course, CMPD is keeping an eye on that situation and ensuring that those who are attending the game and surrounding, restaurants and bars and whatnot are safe. So we're expecting that things should go peacefully, at least during the day. Over the next during the day, should go peacefully for the next couple of days.
Well, I just got two news bulletins while you were just talking there. One is they're blocking 277 Interstate again.
Okay.
The rioters, and the other one is the SBI just released saying that Charlotte has the legal authority to release the video. So that's going to be some interesting things that's going to happen in the near future, because I think the police chief did refer that to the SBI, and now the SBI is saying, hey, you can release that if you want to. So that's some interesting data that just came out. So
that is really interesting. Yeah, I mean, can I take a quick hack at that?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because I know that the city and the CMPD were saying, well, it's an SBI investigation now, so we don't have the authority to release the video. So if the state now is saying, well, no, actually you do have the authority to release the video, it's almost, I hope they're not using this for political purposes. That's an interesting exchange. I'll just let listeners kind of make what they want of that. But given the back and forth between the state and the city in recent events, HB2 and others, that's kind of an interesting kind of exchange.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's good. I mean, we're all due our due process, and I'm not sure how this infringes on the rights of the police officer and the victim as well. But hey, Matt, I don't want to take a lot of your time. I know I promised you 15 minutes, and I saw the video the day you posted, and you were tired. Your phone was running down, so I really appreciate your 15 minutes, and I thank you for the community service that you're doing for the Mecklenburg County and the work you're doing. And I'm proud of you, bud. I really am. And
thank you, Forrest.
Yeah, you got any last thing, and then we'll let you go. And you probably didn't even eat before you came on tonight, so.
No, I haven't yet, but that's all right. The last thing I'd close with, and it would just simply be that number one, anyone who's listening and of faith, we'd appreciate your and covet your prayers down here in Charlotte to keep things orderly, and that the protesters' voices can be heard, and that our first responders can remain safe. But also, just kind of an ongoing thing, I would say, and this goes for everybody on both sides or all sides of the issue. You know, if we're going to solve some of these problems in the world that we're facing today, we've got to start putting ourselves in other people's shoes and understand where the background that other folks have, and that it may not be the same. And I say that for all sides that are involved in these types of issues. We've got to understand that you can say all day long that, we need to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. Yeah. But if you just use that as some cliche saying, then it means nothing. You've got to be able to understand where people are coming from and that their background and their upbringing, however, whichever side you're on, is different than yours. And then have a conversation at that point. Because we've got to solve some of these problems because they won't get better if we just sit idly by.
I agree with that. If we just stick our nose up in the air, I agree with that. Hey, Matthew, thank you so much. This is Matthew Rittenauer from Mecklenburg County Commissioners, District 5, and we thank you very much.
Definitely, thank you.
And we thank you. We'll be praying for you in the city as well. Thank you for your time, Matt.
Thank you so much, and take care.
Take care, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, G-Man, if you want to take it to commercial, we'll be right back and we'll discuss some more of the Charlotte Riots 2016. We'll be right back.
Preppers Asylum is the premier preparedness outfitter. They carry in stock and ship direct the products you're looking for. MREs, freeze-dried food, Kelly kettles, water filtrates, first aid and trauma kits, stoves, personal protection, self-defense supplies, and more. Preppers Asylum are people just like you and I. Find what you're looking for and use promo code PBN at checkout to receive 10% off. That's promo code PBN for 10% off at preppersasylum.com.
TheWonderMill.com, the best grain mills on the market, with the ability to mill several items that many grain mills will not. There are 2 grain mills to choose from. The Wonder Mill Electric. It's fast and gives you a vast variety of items it can grind. The Wonder Junior Hand Grain Mill can grind a wide variety of things that even some of the most expensive hand grain mills cannot, including oily grains, nuts, and seeds. Learn more about the most resourceful tool that you may ever own. See all the exciting things that Wonder Mill can do for you and what you eat at thewondermill.com.
Hey, I'm Joe Alton, MD. I'm here to remind you that disasters can happen anytime, anywhere, and you need to know what to do in an emergency. The new 2016 third edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook is the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way. The Survival Medicine Handbook covers every issue you'll face in times of trouble, and it's all in plain English. Get the Survival Medicine Handbook at Amazon.com. I guarantee one day you'll be glad you did.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hey, what a great phone call. I mean, I love that guy anyway. He's conservative. He's a Marine. He fought for the rights for these people to protest. People in the chat room were saying, hey, they were about 100 people rioting. There were people last night. There were hundreds down there, and they did no wrong. I mean, they were just, except they did get on 277, which, I mean, the police got them off pretty quickly, but there was not any, I mean, you've got to believe they have a right to do that.
They do, but at the same point, I think people need to stop for a moment and they need to reflect. Whenever you say peaceful protest, keep in mind your protest should not be afflicting your local economy.
I agree.
And whenever you're blocking up traffic, you're burning cars, you're damaging storefronts, you're looting, anything of that nature, you are not only affecting the revenue of businesses nearby.
But if you get 100 people, you got 10 of them that are absolutely go against the 100 people.
Absolutely.
And that's, I mean, so you've got to know that some people were down there, they were angry. Some of them have a right. I mean, they have a right to be angry. Maybe.
Do they?
Do they? Maybe if they do. Well, they have a right to be if it's a correct anger or a justified anger.
Like a righteous indignation.
Yeah.
But whenever you don't know all the facts and not everything has been released,
right?
That's kind of like me sending you a text ...
Mm-hmm.
and you just flipping out on me, and right. My text didn't go through properly. One of the things that I was loving about what he was saying is people coming together and having that open dialogue. and it's something I've said in the prepper community forums. I talk to people on a daily basis. Everyone seems to have this idea. Well, we need a revolution. That's a big word nowadays. Even if you watch local news, mainstream media, you watch television shows, revolution is on everybody's mind.
Right.
And what everyone seems to forget is there's another option. There's another R word, and I've been using it for years.
Republican?
Renaissance.
Oh, Renaissance. Okay.
Renaissance. I think we need the Great American Renaissance, not the next American Revolution. We don't need that.
Right.
We need dialogue between local leaders, national leaders, and really heartfelt conversations to get to the bottom of it, not all the hate and division and politics and propaganda.
I agree. Hey, guys, I want to remind you, our giveaway is next week. We're going to do the drawing. To register for that, you go to preppingacademy.com. That's preppingacademy.com, and there's a big red button that says Enter Here. And all you'll do is you'll sign up for a mailing newsletter, and I actually just went out today. So, I mean, we don't spam you. I was informing you of the show venue change, or not the venue, topic change. But that's preppingacademy.com. We're having a giveaway. We got a Sunjack, tack bars, and cellular water filters that we're giving away. We'll have that drawing next week. Also, this week's show is going to be moved. So this week we're talking about the riots in Charlotte. Next week, I have a whole lesson that I put together on surviving riots and flash mobs. And so we're going to probably go through that next week. Sometime we got to do a download on Prepper Camp, because the Prepper Camp was amazing. Maybe we can do if things cool down in Charlotte.
Yeah.
We'll do Prepper Camp download next week, and we talk about that, because I met some amazing, wonderful people I got to tell you about, and learned a lot of great things. And then we'll move the survival and riot, how to survive a riot and a flash mob for 2 weeks. So we'll see if it cools down. We'll do that.
We'll probably argue a little there. We might have different perceptions on that one.
That's true. So, again, preppingacademy.com, sign up for our mailing list. And we're here live every Friday night.
Yep.
We talk about stuff, great stuff, things that you need to know. And so join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. So my question to you, and I didn't bring this too much but are these people considered domestic terrorists? I think some of them definitely are domestic terrorists.
I think they are.
And they need to be arrested and put in jail.
Sitting here thinking about it and listening to Matthew talk, one of the questions I kind of want to stipulate, are there people within this, like I was saying about my conspiracy theory, obviously I firmly believe that there are ISIS members, or maybe Nation of Islam members radicalized by Farrakhan and other groups that are out there, that are in these groups, and they want to cause violence. Because even watching mainstream media, they acknowledge that a lot of these protesters who are coming from out of state, they're no longer there to protest. They, even on the first and second night, they were trying to start a fight. You watch them on the videos where they were, tear gas was going out, and they were grabbing tear gas canisters, throwing them
back at the police officers.
I've seen people trying to light, cop cars on fire with fireworks, things of that nature. And I mean, for everything tonight, it looks pretty peaceful. But I also have to wonder, are there intelligence agencies out there that are mingling within the crowd? I really hope
undercover FBI.
Absolutely.
They have to be. I mean, it would be embarrassing if they weren't.
Yeah.
FBI, Charlotte police officers in plain clothes out there mingling with these people and reporting, what people are saying and what the next move is.
Yeah, and this is another thing too, is that reading, going over Drudge Report, Zero Hedge, stuff like that. I also seen a report today that said that there are a lot of Arab social media sites that are rejoicing over these protests, and I'm thinking, why is that? Why are they tied together? What information are they receiving on their social media that's making this a rejoiceable moment for them?
Right.
Is there an ulterior motive? Is there an agenda?
Right.
Because I certainly don't see from what CNN and MSNBC and Fox News are covering that there's any sort of Islamic agenda. But I can't help but think that there's something underlying if they're rejoicing it.
Yes. Okay, we are the Prepping Academy. So, and we're not going to get deep into what to do because we have a whole show we're going to dedicate that.
Yeah.
But is in the preparedness mindset, and we see this going on in our town. I mean, that should kind of, I won't say, I mean, we're kind of ready for things like this.
Yeah.
I mean, if this breaks out to a whole downtown Charlotte just erupting, and I mean, the prepping community, we should be ready.
Yeah.
I mean, we this is what we plan for.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know that one day this is going to happen on a wide scale. If it's just civil unrest because of food, if it's the economy that breaks. And so the other night, let me tell you, I went to prepper camp. I'm going to just bring up one thing, and I met a young man, and his name was Samuel Culper, and he runs the it's called Forward Observer, and he talked about information is king. And we talked about this the other night.
Yeah.
And so what me and several of my prepping friends did is we were tracking every single thing that was going on. And
I'm a little critical of that because, like you said, you were tracking it, but you were using Facebook, social media.
Which was very accurate because we got photos of exactly when the photo was taken, the time, and could actually pinpoint exactly where they were through geotagging.
Yes.
On every photo. So when a guy was kicking in a door on live TV, I didn't see the live TV. I got a photo of a young lady that took that photo, and I knew exactly the door he was kicking in and could show you right on the map where it was.
Yeah, so definitely if something like this does kick off and there's civil unrest throughout
we
our nation.
We got to know where they're moving and where they are, and if they're coming down our neighborhood street.
Yeah, it's essentially tracking the Golden Horde almost.
Right. But we were following the police radio. We were following Medic. We were watching it on TV, and we were all kind of reporting it. And it was almost, we don't have the software yet, but this software has to be created where we could actually, I found something that's really cool, and I'm going to research it some more. But when the riots happen like this, and if we have technology, if we have computer, radio, this kind of stuff, we need to track this so we can warn other people.
Yeah.
Hey, they're getting ready to go into South Park Mall.
Well, that's how I received my warning yesterday.
Get out the South End. I mean, we need to be able to do that because you know what? The media is not going to say, hey, all shoppers, please get out of the mall. Or, hey, they're getting ready to come in your neighborhood. You better.
Well, that's actually what I did yesterday is I actually received a text from someone who had been associated with Black Lives Matters, and I actually told you.
Yep.
I actually called my former boss that actually worked over in the South Park area, let her know she hadn't heard anything about it. The mall hadn't heard anything about it. She contacted them. But through that chain of information, that was able to get through to there. But, I mean, even in my own location, there was a very strong police presence last night.
Right.
I'm sure there is tonight. I think they were going to be up in the North Lake area as well. But just you have to be careful with how that dissemination goes through because, whenever you're reading a text from something, even if it's put out on Facebook or whatever, things can be conveyed in a way that might be more serious.
But when someone shoots a photo and puts it up on Twitter, and it has a geotag, so you know exactly the coordinates where they are.
Yeah.
And you can see the door that was being broke, and then you can go, oh, I forgot the apartment complex the guy was kicking in the door. I saw that, and the geotag, I put it on the map, and the next thing I know, I flipped over to another screen of, one of the local channels here, and boom, that guy was actually kicking the door in. And so when you can track that, and people are doing live videos, there's got to be a software that can track, and there is. It's called Twitterfall is one of them, where you can actually track. You can put in the hashtag, and it can track where they're coming from and put it on a map.
Oh, gotcha.
And so there is some use to that. But police radio, we were listening to that. We were actually listening to the app. It was 5.0. It's called, I think it's 5.0 Radio. But, I mean, the last two nights, I think they pulled the feed from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg. I don't know, but tell me, guys, if it's still out there. I know someone just, what happened to the CMPD feed on the 5.0 Radio? Again, apparently CMPD pulled it off.
That's like you had mentioned last night about Pineville PD. You weren't able to pick up anything there, but, I mean, there was a presence at my location very heavily.
And so a lot of police units have gone to this trunk, which is digital. which my new SDR that I just got I'll be able to listen to them, and but apparently they don't put that on the internet anymore. So, but guys, we've got to be able to track this. You got to understand that intel is part of your prepping. Intel is king, and if you know where they are, where they're going. A friend of mine had some girls near UNCC that he almost had to go in and rescue. And if you have family members in the area and you track the rioters or the protesters going, you need to take action. Same in the grid down, man. If you hear some people with radios coming your way and you're tracking them with an SDR, and you got to, it gives you time to be prepared. So, it looks pretty peaceful down there right now. I don't see anything going on. Is that an Islamic flag?
I'm not sure.
Or is that like an Iranian flag? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's kind of interesting. It's not an American flag. But, so we got all kinds of rumors the other night about them being in Concord. You said they were in
Mooresville.
Yeah. They thought they were going to go to South Park area, but I guess where the bigger group, it was downtown, and so everyone went downtown. We're watching WCNC.com right now. That's where we saw a flag. I think it was.
It is called the Pan-African flag, also known as the UNIA flag.
It's red, black, and green.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's interesting. That would be downtown Charlotte. So, what's some other tips that we need to tell people? Okay, we all have to agree the rioters, they're, like I said to Matt, I would say that 99% of them are Hillary voters.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just be real.
I think being real it is going to be politicized. I would encourage, bring Hillary here. She wants to come. She wants to politicize the event, cause more chaos. Show America what you're really about. Mm-hmm. You're about the vision. Mm-hmm. Trump, I don't think he should step one foot over here. I think he should say, it's an unfortunate situation. Let's hear the facts, then let us react with sensible means. Looking at something like this, you have to think even what it's costing the taxpayer.
Right.
Protest peacefully, that's excellent.
Be in the park. When they were in Marshall Park and they stayed there, that was perfect. But when they started going down the streets, it was that's crazy. But, you just can't go down there and shoot them all. That's not a solution. Wait, it is a solution, but that's not the proper solution.
It's not the proper solution.
You can't arrest them all. they're just walking down the street, protesting with signs.
I get offended that you're looking at this, and you see people of all nationalities in here, and I think it's great that people are sticking up for each other. But being in the environment I have for a number of years, why is it Black Lives Matters? Why is it not All Lives Matters? And whenever you say you don't support a movement like Black Lives Matters, you're automatically called a racist.
Right.
And I find that horribly offensive. But when someone uses the word racist, to me, that's almost as bad as using, someone being called a pedophile.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say there's thousands of people, and there's way more than hundreds down there. You've seen them walk by. So as a prepper, someone in the preparedness mindset, a couple things. If you're working downtown, which a lot of the banks closed today, but if you're downtown, you got to have the thing like a get home bag. You might not be able to pull out of your parking lot. Mm-hmm. The best would be hunker down where you are.
Yeah. Well, in particular in a situation like this,
mm-hmm.
There were a couple of cases. There was even a CNN reporter they tried to throw in the fire.
Oh yeah.
If you were white and you were downtown during these nights, whenever it was more violent.
There's white people all mixed in here, though.
There are tonight, but mm-hmm. this is not obviously violent right now, from what we're seeing. I mean, it looks like people are, smoking hookahs or something like that. I don't know what they're doing. It's more peaceful tonight. Maybe there's younger kids out there. They don't want that element. I don't know. But whenever it was violent, you didn't want to be walking down there.
One of the questions that come to my mind all the time is, do they really think that nationwide all the police officers got together and say, hey, if a black guy does something kind of borderline, let's all just shoot him? Because that's what that kind of means when you say no justice, no peace, no peace, no justice. It's like a conspiracy that they think that, that police officers themselves, because they've passed the black-white police officers.
Yes.
Because this police officer was a college graduate from Liberty University that shot another black individual.
Yes.
So they went, well, we can't use the race now thing with the police officers anymore. Because why? Because the last 2 or 3 shootings have been black officers shooting black. So they've passed through that. They were using that. Now it's just police officers are evil.
Well, I think part of the problem is too, and I've had individual conversations with folks where if you look at the Universal Crime Report, you look at the statistics from the FBI, there are actually more whites on a year-by-year basis who are shot by cops, and no one questions whether the cop was white or black, whether or not. I mean, sure, there have been instances where maybe there was a swatting done or something like that, and it does come up, but these sort of events don't occur, which makes me feel even more like this is a politicized agenda, and they're trying to undermine basically the local and state forces to federalize them. And I know that George Soros is a big one for funding Black Lives Matters and wanting to federalize the police departments.
Right. So you think you told me before we started that you think this is all that there are many agencies possibly supporting this to federalize the police force.
I do. And this is funny for me because being from Chicago and my family all being from the north, moving down south, not fully understanding maybe the Civil War and then what I'm taught, when I was growing up as a kid, I can totally understand now the issue of states versus federal rights. And this to me feels like a backhanded agenda to usurp state rights.
Right. So one of the questions I came up with today, we only have a few minutes for our podcast, for our radio show, is curfews legal?
Yeah, no.
I don't think they're legal, but again, our Constitution and laws passed are completely separate. Because we pass laws all the time that infringe on our rights from the Constitution. But, is it legal? And I've went to many sites that argue both today. So, but anyway, that's a topic we're going to cover on another show. Again, if the riots keep happening for into Wednesday or Thursday next week, we're going to do how to survive a riot and a flash mob. And if not, we're gonna do a lowdown or a download on Prepper Camp.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Just breaking news. I already actually have Hillary's speech for whenever she comes. It's already online. What she plans to say. Oh, sorry, that was in poor taste.
Oh yeah.
I had to throw a little humor in for the night.
Funny guy. Yeah, then she's gonna fall down, right? So, hey guys, a couple minutes left. I want to remind you guys of our drawing. It's going to take place next week. Go to Prepping Academy. That's preppingacademy.com. Sign up. There's a big red thing that says enter here. That enters you into our newsletter. And what we're going to do, I have a random software generator program that's written by geniuses that will randomly pick anyone that's ever signed up for a mailing list. And we'll have several winners, and then we'll get them out. Then you have to drive to Charlotte. No, I'm kidding. Come pick it up.
Shipping's only $99.99.
Yeah. But so that drawing's next week. Kyle is no longer employed. You say that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
So no more, like last week we did the show from Prepper Camp, and I was in Prepper Camp, and you were in your office.
Still.
So that's not going to happen again. And so, again, join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right?
Standard Pacific? No.
Yeah.
Eastern.
And you'll be here, right?
I will be here.
And so if Kyle's here and I'm here and you're here, we're going to have a party.
Absolutely. Well, I brought cupcakes tonight.
You did. My kids are already eating.
They're going to be hyped.
Gone. Yeah, thanks for bringing cupcakes at 9 o'clock at night on Friday night to my kids. Hey guys, we're gonna stay tuned on the Riots. We will be live next Friday night. Join us. Don't forget to go to preppingacademy.com, sign up for our mailing list, and Kyle will come with some more conspiracy theories next week.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining us.
Today's broadcast has come to you through the courtesy of the Prepper Broadcasting Network. See our hosts, show schedules, archived programs, and more at prepperbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.